Basic? Pretty basic. Sorry? Once or twice a week, but predominantly once a week. So we all work. Sorry?
All day on that one day?
These guys from like sunrise to sunset. Look, all day we'll try because we only get one day. Right? We only get that pass from the wives one day. and the other day we spend time with our families. Good. So what to bring? Alright. Today's event is predominantly for this, right? Life jacket and making sure that you fish safe. So I don't explain it, we'll go through it in detail with you guys, how you use it, why it's important, blah blah blah. I'll go through with you guys what we bring in our bag. Cleats. You guys know what cleats are? You're rock fishermen, or actually, put your hand up if you rockfish. These are the rock fishing side. Oh yeah, there you go. These guys. That's good, majority of you guys are. So you guys know what cleats are. I've tried a few of them. These ones here from ISO, not only because I'm sponsored by them, but pretty good quality. I've had this for like 3 seasons now. Yeah, stainless steel, man, they last. Yeah. The ones that, we bought some from like eBay and all that, they don't even last a season, man. But they rust and they snap.
I am so telling you this stuff.
Oh yeah, these.
You get the stainless steel one?
Yeah, stainless steel. $60, they'll last forever, man.
How do you put the straps on? I still haven't figured out.
When you put it on, put it over your feet, put it over your shoe, and then you slip it on like that, man.
Oh, okay.
So how did you put it on?
No, I was like, I'm putting it on. I was like,
Dude, you went to university. That's, come on, man. Get it.
I was looking at like photos and everything.
Plates are very important, especially if you go to Boca. I'm assuming most of you guys go there. And you get this thing called black ice. It's like, what do they call it, like algae that grows in the rock. You don't wear these, you slip. Yeah, right? You don't want that. But also if you get hit by a wave or you get hit like if the wave comes up, it'll keep you grounded. What do I bring? Headlight or headlamp. You get there really early. I bring an extra bag, so I don't bring a bucket. So if I catch fish, I'll put it into this bag. These are waterproof bags, man. $60 for 4 of them. Chaos, cheap. Full. So you'll get 4 sizes. $60. Get it online. It's cheap, man. Waterproof. Tough as. Brag mat. So you need a brag mat because you've got to measure the fish, right? You don't want to take undersized fish. The fisheries do come to America, so if you take undersized fish, you're going to get a nice surprise in the form of a fine. What else do I bring? Bring a rag, knife, bunch of leaders, bottle of water, almost finished, very important. Bring a face mask and a pair of gloves. Yeah. Gloves are not really essential, but face mask is. I don't like any sunscreen, so I just cover up my face. I'm a Deva fan. I'm a Deva fanboy, so I've got Deva gloves. Yeah, I saw you get there's one it's on sale, Asia, $30. What is it? On no, it's not Asia. I'll send you. Yeah, you can get it from Asia. It's just it's like I throw lures all day. Just always get the car.
What brand do you like?
I don't know, man. I'll go. Sorry.
Oh, he's big into torches.
Oh, you into torture now?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. As long as it's bright, I'll go through these like every season.
Oh, really?
Fish.
Brian, you want every season?
Fish.
think suggestions would be grand.
What are they, like $300, $400?
Like 150.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, ace speed. Not ace speed.
SP?
Ace speed.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's sweet. How many lumens? This is
How many lumens? You don't want need to worry about lumens. You need to worry about flow and flood.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as it's not good flood or if you're looking for flow, then that's what you do. But the one at ace speed has a good 4,000 lumens, so really good.
Cool, man. I'll have to check this out. Couple of things. I bring swivels. This is FG stick. So when you do a knot, it's not really tight. You don't cut your hands. I bring a lighter and a few lures. I'll go through the lures after this. That's it. That's what I bring. Try to keep it as light as possible. Some of the spots that we go to is quite far, so it's not car park to the spot. To get 40-minute walk, we've done 1 hour walk. It's real high. So you want to try to be as light as possible, but you can't forget bottled water, man. Luckily for us, the Boca is nice and close. The car park is easy to get to. So it's not too much of a worry. Any questions on that? No, pretty basic. Basic. Alright. Yeah, you just strap it, carry it. When you walk back to fish, you've got 2 bags, then you're better strapping it on. But yeah, I mean, like, we used to bring a lot of buckets and all that. If we're doing liveys, we'll bring a tool, a whole bunch of stuff that we're doing. It's a really basic session, and just bring lures, and also bring a gap. Get the gap. Forget this. The young there, like the back there, you lost 2 long-tailed tuna last year. Last season. Early this year, huh? Yeah. Because he didn't get the gap. He didn't have a gap.
Never been.
Huh?
Never been because.
Yeah, he never brings a gap, and the guy that was fishing with him wanted to jump in the water. But yeah, you'll be surprised, like, you think you can like lift it up or whatever, but some of the ledges is really difficult, it's really hard. But just keep in mind, if you're using the gap, you're going to kill the fish. So if you catch and release, obviously go to the gap. If we get a tuna, we're taking it home, like, we'll feed it to family. No question. Alright, rod and reel. I predominantly use reel setup for my rock fishing. I'll start with a medium light. No brim setup. This is straight up rock fishing, right? I won't go any less than 9 feet rod. Purely because when you're moving ledge and you're fighting the fish, you need the length. Then the wider, otherwise it will take you under or hit you on the rock. 20-pound braid, 40-pound leader, shore jigging, whatever light setup you want to use. This is probably good just for a quick sesh. Catch a couple of bonnies, go home. 5 minutes already. Wow.
Yeah, we're just going to be in the middle.
That's my light setup. 4,000 size reel. You can go 5,000. If anyone is starting up, I'll probably recommend them to start with the 5,000. Nice and easy, nice and light, half of the day. So my medium heavy. Now this is what I prefer. If I'm going to bring one rod, I'll bring this. Anywhere between a 60 to 100 gram setup for lures. Again, this is a 9.8. 50-pound braid. 50-pound leader. And yeah, we use minnows most of the time. 8,000 size reel. Upgraded, but I got myself a day one. Got myself a day one, 8,000. But again, not too heavy, cast all day. Pretty much can put in anything. Even a one-tail tuna will put this in. It's the Ocean's Legacy Specialist. Ocean's Legacy is a WA based business. It's an Australian rod. And they sponsor me. So I've got a pod there. Thanks for asking me. Alright, so that was my medium. What's the weight of the rod? The weight, this one is a 50 to 80. It's actually a bit lighter. 30 to 80, sorry. 30 to 80. So it's a bit lighter. I would prefer actually something a bit heavier, but for the size and the reel, I would recommend this recommended size. And this is my heaviest setup. Right, this is what we call a G setup, land-based game fishing. Overhead, 8-foot rod. Most of these overhead rods are short, like 6 foot, but you can find longer ones. Again, helps you fight the fish easier. So that's my setup, man. Floaty, I don't use balloons. Balloons are a bit annoying. Kind of blows the lighting around. This floaty, and I was just explaining earlier, it makes it easier for the fish to swim around. So they stay alive a lot longer.
Where do you get that?
I use circle hooks. This is like a 10-inch circle hook.
Is Gab giving you a discount?
Yeah, all free, man. Nah, just joking, he's joking. Nah, he's I've been going to him for a while. Again, I'm sponsored by him, right? So, the circle hook, got the LBG buddy. Then that's lively. Any questions on that, guys? All good? Yeah. Oh, you all know what? Let's do the setup. Lures, I'm not going to get too much detail with the lures because they're running at time. But I showed you guys that minnow. And that's predominantly what we use, right? We use the Pala or the hardcore. Something hardcore, I forgot what the hardcore is. The other things we use is shore jigging. This one here is their well with this one here. Cast the mile on the wind and catch most of anything. Trying to use soft plastic, sluggos, thingies. No, one other lure. Oh, here we go. This is like a tuna lure. Like they call them GQ ice cream, like custom mile. This is a Samsung. Custom mile, let it sink, just crack it in. These things are crazy, man. And then Indians love them too, for some reason. Online, pretty cheap, like $30. My lures, or our lures, don't go any more than 30, 35, man. We don't get all these expensive. Yeah, I guess.
You ever tried the designer one?
I don't know, man, like, we lose so much lures, we don't want to, $100 lure. And some of these lures, they'll still catch. Nobody can go. Those are our lures that we use. Nobody's going to be fancy.
Hah? Ipatay doon sa gitna.
Any questions? Moving on. Alright, so I'll pass it on to Ahmed. Ahmed's got an interesting story that he wants to talk about with the boater. Let me just say, hey guys, so I'm pretty sure that he has covered everything. It's almost everything, we all do the same. With some bit of differences. I am more on float and I do three-way swivel. I'm sure those of you know why I use three-way swivel to lift tangle with the ropes. So I usually sometimes hook as well here. On the lazy side of fishing, I try to get live bait or filter, cut it out with a three-way swivel and let it be, just sit down, relax until it goes full. Or on the floating, holding my rod. If your preference, if you want to spend more money, you can spend more money on boards and everything. Unless on the word, unless I see you would catching something on the word, all the time I catch my lower. Okay, so it's a bit of cheating, but it's okay for me. It's working this way.
COVID, there was no going out, just going out fishing. I got the chance when they opened the gate for us to go out in Western Sydney, so it was very hard for us. Sitting here, it was so windy. We sat down, had some barbecue, and for those who come to Abuja, it is very dangerous, especially if there is a lot of wind and there is a bit of swell. But that way, it was crazy.
Sorry to interrupt. Can we just get everyone to go into the middle and then
Guys, if you have any questions,
Yeah, just come back if you want to. We're just going to do the official license.
Ayo, live sa YouTube. Sa YouTube. YouTube, live sa YouTube. Inuro yung dalawang sakloban dyan. Yung sumadsad yung puwit.
Si Romy, ano ba nangyari kay Romy doon? Parang si Lito Lapid na nakaluhan.
Nag-surfing. Butang. Warak yung short ko dun eh. Walan pa ng malay eh. Ang dami rin umatin eh.
Of our lifesavers out there to do a free demonstration for you and a life
Kita mo ko
jacket
sa YouTube
demonstration. That'll
nakalive.
be really exciting. Following that, we come back here where you'll then be fitted with a life jacket, which you
Search mo yung pangalan ko.
we'll get you to do a quick survey before you do get fit for a life jacket. And that will end the day. So we'll be ending at about
Gari ba yan?
3:30 today. Hopefully the wind is not going to blow any of us away today. So just iron your hat as well. If you do require water, there is of course cafe here as well. There is a little water bottle there where you can fill up bottles.
Naman, doon fishing yung nakalive. Ay, ito.
From the playground, and there is a playground just behind us
Tayo, no?
as well. So please feel free to
Tayo yung ano ko.
any questions if you have them. So we're going to get moving on to
Konting
the
Japon.
next station. So whatever your letter is, move on to the next station. Have fun. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Pala nakaganon na. Nakaganon ako kanina. Sorry. Lilipat ba? Lilipat?
Ano natin lahat yan?
Ah. Dito naman.
Sa Wollongong kami.
Sa Wollongong? Layo pa.
Dito lang kami na ano, di available.
Ah, dito naman tayo. Hindi, tapos na yata dyan eh.
Tapos na tayo ngayon tayo dyan. Hindi na tayo pwede. Ganun mo. Kasi yung grupo na yun. Kahit na lang siguro tayo. Ganun. Wala.
So I've been rock fishing for like 25 years now. A little bit less the last couple of years, you know, a bit older and things like that. But still doing it. I went out this morning. It was sloppy, but you know, I'm here, so it's fine. I'll give you guys a rundown, I guess, on what I like to do before I go fishing at a spot, okay, and how I check the weather. Because what I found through doing the last session of Bill 60, a lot of people, you know, they check the weather, but they don't really know how to check the weather. It's kind of like things where like, oh, I saw the news, you know, and it said the weather was going to be good. Yeah, that's not really the best form of fishing. You need a lot more information. And so what I want to do is I want to show you guys some of the sites that I like to use before I go fishing, and how I check it, how I correlate that
Yeah, pwede naman yun.
spot that I'm actually
Pwede
going
yan.
fishing. And then I'll talk to you guys about
Pwede
what
yan.
to watch out for as well.
Mamaya, doon naman tayo.
For when wind changes and things like that. So this is a site that I kind of like to use. There's a number of them out there.
Okay lang yun. Okay lang.
Really well. This is called Surf.
Pwede nga kata hindi mo.
Now the reason why
Fishing muna, balik na lang mamaya.
is because it tells you the swell size, which is important, but it also tells you other things as well, which are equally, if not more important, which is the period cycle, the second cycle of the wave, which tells you how big the wave actually is. Okay? It also tells you if there's a secondary swell as well, because that's important. So I'll start with the vocal. We'll just do today. Okay. So what it does is it says 0.8 metres south-southeast. Okay. 0.8 metres south-southeast is pretty alright. If you go and check it on Google Maps, if you go to a boat here, for example, you've got north, south, east, west. Oh, by the way, it tells you where the swell's coming from. So SSC means it's coming from the south-southeast. If it was just in, well, then it's coming straight from the east. If it was northeast, it'll be coming from the northeast. Why is that? The other place like a boat, this is where we all pretty much fish around this area here. Well, suddenly, the small ball straight past, south-southeast, excuse me, comes along over the side of it, so it pushes over. But anything east, so it's direction here, it's hitting there on. Okay, so when you've got a swell that's coming from the east, it's much more dangerous than a swell coming from the south. But it's not telling you there's a secondary swell. So you've got a swell that's exactly the same size as the southerly one. So you've got one swell coming this way, and then you've got another swell coming that way. So you've got two swells hitting the ledge at the same time. Why is that important? Have you guys ever seen when you throw two pebbles in the water and then the waves shoot in where they join up and they move? Okay? In these conditions, it can peak out. So that's why out there this morning it was like, okay, a little bit rough, a little bit east, and then, oh, there's a bigger one. That's what happens. Okay? Now, today it's not that bad, 1.8. What would happen if you got 1.5, 1.5? You got a much larger peak. Now, the second cycle, this is where a lot of people get undone. People think, oh, 1.5 metre wave is a 1.5 metre wave, yeah? It's 1.5 metres. No, it's not. And I'll show you guys what I mean. These are wave winners. Okay, so this is like just a quick one, so I'm just going to take a drink of some stuff. So, as you can see, these waves are the same height. Okay, we'll just like that but this wave here, for example, even though it's the same height as this one, this is the size of the wave. As you can see, there's a lot less water on that than what there is in this. Okay, so what it means is it's like the power of the wave. Okay, so you have this thing here, you've got wave and just goes. Imagine if the same size wave, but it's that light, it's going to wash over. So you've got a lot more meter, and the energy grows exponentially. Okay, so I'll show you guys an example. It's going to happen here on Tuesday. Okay, so there is 3 times as much energy in the waves that are going to come on Wednesday as opposed to the ones that are going to be there on Tuesday. And the waves on Wednesday, 10 centimetres. Okay? It doesn't tell you these things when you go on the Tuesday. And even have these into account because if you go somewhere on one day and it's like 1.5 metres swell, it's cool. Because you've got a 1.5 metre swell next week, it doesn't mean it's in the same spot. Because the size of the waves are going to vary. I'll give you guys a bit of physical example as well. other side. It hits the rocks, yeah. She goes over here and she just goes splash. Same thing here, look at that. That thing's going to come right across the rocks. So instead of this little skinny thing coming along and just going splush, now you've got this behemoth of water that's going to wash over the rock. The power of that is what basically can knock you over and hurt you and potentially sweep you back in. Okay? So checking the swell period or the second cycle is really important. Okay? And if you have a look as well on the advanced surf, you don't actually have much of these swell as well, so it's predominantly just set. Okay? So these are things as well where you can actually check these. So apart from today, where you've actually got those contact swells, you don't really have it for the other days. Now,
Wala si Ray. Right? Saan?
before you go fishing is what's the time? Okay, because a lot of it will is it rising time? Is it falling time?
Ayan din yung mga sa Malongo.
I'll show you. There's the rock ledge. It's low tide. Yeah. Now it's high
Lang na.
tide. Example. So, as the same size
Simula pa lang.
wave, with the tide's higher, now we can wash over. Okay? So that's the thing that you've got to look out for as well. Because if the tide's rising, you need to be expecting that more water is going to be coming over the ledge. Okay? So you've got to be factoring that into what you're doing. What about the other thing as well that's important is certain spots fish better in different swells. Used to work. I'll take it down to 60 and show you guys, you know, the difference because the 60 and both are very popular ledges, but they both operate in completely opposite swells. Okay, so suddenly a hill 60 smacks the head on. Okay, whereas a nor'easter at hill 60, you've got a whole reef system to take all the power out of that river. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to Google Maps and I'm going to use Terrigal as an example. Okay, the reason for that is kind of literally like 60 basis. So here, you've got a nor'east swell, for example, and look, I've already fished up this spot before, so I'm not going to go fishing. Okay, disclaimer, I'm just pretending that this is so you go to a rock fishing spot, you get there at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a nor'easterly swell, and the fish are going on. You're catching. There's tail on, there's mackerel on, yakas are on, you know, there's salmon swimming around. Everyone's having a great time. But you haven't checked your swell. This is how water is moving well. And there's a southerly change coming. Okay? And what happens is, that southerly change is happening at night, for example. You're not really going to see it coming. Okay? Because it's going to happen at night. Sometimes the change happens before the wind even starts. So the swell will come before the wind goes. Okay? And if you're not expecting that change in the southerly swell, you could be standing there and those first southerly waves start coming over and you know that it's going to go from 1.5 metre nor'easterly to 3-4 metres in the space of hours. You don't know that's coming. When you rock up to the fishing spot, everything looks fine, you think it's going to be fine, and you stay all night. But sometime during that night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that ledge is underwater. And that is probably one of the biggest swell changes that catches out so many people. It's basically how a lot of people went in at Catherine Hill Bay. It's how it happens over a hill 60. You know, a lot of people are going to 60 with that change. Especially if it happens on Friday night, or Saturday night. Okay? People just don't expect it, they don't check it. Those first waves come over it, it's like, look, smash. An hour later, the whole ledge gets taken out. It wasn't the other thing as well that I will tell you guys, has anybody here ever heard of the people getting the weather wrong? I have. I've seen it get the weather wrong. Or,
Ay, yung apps na gamit sa pag-check nila ng weather, no?
they get this wrong.
Website.
Oo, hindi nila sinabi, no?
Okay? This is a guide, but you need to trust what your eyes see when you get out. If you get out there and there's supposed to be no waves coming from a particular direction, if you get out there and you see them coming from that direction, obviously something's not right. You know, so you need to factor that in. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to fish? Are you going to continue to fish with caution? These are all the things that you need to take into account. I'll give you guys an example of what I noticed coming out because I knew that the waves would be a little bit unpredictable because the source coming in two different directions. So I walked out and I looked at the ground and I noticed that there's a lot of pumps at the back. You're right. Waves that have hit something overnight that have pushed way back. So I don't know if there's any more of that still in it or not. So what do I do? I'm not going to put my bags down where I'm normally talking about today. I put them up against the cliff. Just to be extra safe. Never need to. Might have needed to. Why is that important? When that wave comes over, if you're worried about your tackle box, if you're worried about the fish, if you're worried about buckets, your bait, you're not concentrating on what you need to do to get away from that wave and stay upright and do things like that. I don't have to worry about any of that if I get away from the motor. Okay? So you've got to factor that into the occasion and look at it. Because I've looked at it for 5 minutes and then, it actually doesn't look too bad to go down the coast like I was going to fish, and then 5 minutes later, boom, 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 no, I'm not going to go down there. I'm going to fish through the fire. Okay? So, assess the situation when you get down there.
That was it up.
Now, I'm usually about an hour on my code. But they're not here. So, what I want to do is I just want to take a pause. Because there's a lot of information that I just scattered all you guys. Like, I mean, I'm throwing this information at you. Does anyone have a question? This is called surf forecast. Yep. Another one that I like to use is
Surf forecast.
Surf forecast.
Just look at it again and see what happens. Probably not going to light up because it's spotting doesn't do that. But you know, surf forecast, sea breeze, I think wind weather as well. Bureau of Meteorology.
Sea breeze, willy weather.
This one here, what we can do is, let me show you guys, I'll show you now. You can actually be very specific with the location. So here it's obviously Australia, but where I've selected Newcastle, but say I was fishing in Warren, I could go down here, and I could go and fish one of these other, I might go and select one of the other locations, right?
Ang labo, hindi makita.
Okay, so what you can do is, if you're looking at that,
Oh, wait, the
you can
forecast.
actually think about it and say, well, where do I actually want to fish? Do I want to go north? Do I want to go south? Is there a safer spot for me to fish this weekend? Okay, and you can actually factor that in. So it's a big ocean out there, and sometimes like immensely more power in this location.
Pinapakita yung wave.
Kulay blue.
So
How powerful yung wave.
I'll tell you guys that. Apologies.
Silaw.
Right. That is a very, very, very big question because every spot that you fish is different. 6 metre, 7 metre salmon as well. I've fished 6, 7 metre salmon as well. But those are very, very, very deep spots that have a kilometre of cliffs to protect you from the swell, and you're almost fishing the bay. So every spot is different, you know, which is what I say, like, if one spot faces south, you're going to be more exposed to the sunrise swell. You're more exposed to the northerly swell. Some spots are lower, some spots are higher. So if you have a low ridge, even a very moderate swell will wash over. But if you have a high with a larger swell, it will actually just bounce off the rocks. It takes a long while to get water over that ledge. The other thing as well, what's kind of like you with the swell? Is it a reef? Is there an island down there? There's also kind of the energy out of that bay. What's actually going on? So there's one, you know, safe sort of swap. Look, obviously if it's dead flat, safe your preference. Yeah. So forecast is there for you to say there's videos of that. It was big. And the group of people not in a 3 metre submersible. And what these guys did, they grabbed their fishing gear, walked straight down the rocks, bailed and started fishing without watching, without checking, without commenting. And unfortunately, because of their experience, it's not their fault, you know. You don't know what you don't know. That's what okay, so it's important to be able to recognise that on its day, every spot can be dangerous, and on its day, every spot can be safe. You know, you need to be able to understand the spot you're fishing. If you don't know, you can ask them when is it safe to fish? They say, oh, I don't know. Don't listen to the dumb people that actually know fish that spot. The other thing that I want you guys know, harsh about this, you have to understand what I'm telling you today about the swell sizes, the swell directions, how to check your spot and where the swell's coming from. Don't go rock fishing. Don't do it. Rock fishing is not like fishing in a river. It's not like fishing in the Sydney Harbour or off a jetty or anything like that. That is a dynamic environment. It can change in a matter of hours. Like literally. And if you don't have the experience level to actually fish, and you want to go rock fishing, do not do it. Because you're too busy trying to work out how to fish. That's one extra
because I know what is that. They want to get to the fish. Remember, not even the fish. You can't go out there and enjoy your rock fishing.
automatic. without putting it in the water. Okay? Maybe if you drive at 100 k's an hour, you'll be okay. Alright? So that's the same as like a calm day. When that swell comes up and you put the pedal to the metal, you're going sooner or later. And that's the same with rock fishing. Get your skill level up before you go out to somewhere like that. That's the I can't stress it enough. I mean, I want everybody to go rock fishing and do it safely.
Sir Ronald.
Not everybody should do it.
Sa kabila.
Kasama natin, naligaw tayo eh.
Hang on, work out, you know, where's south, where's east, where's the slope.
Kasama tayo sa grupo ni Tete eh.
You're guessing. And you're guessing with something that you want to do. You know, you're guessing with something that and, you know, what are the chances of it happening? I mean, like everyone can die. I just want to try and make sure that's the best. So why don't I talk to you guys about what happens if you go into water? So when you guys go to a rock fishing spot, you guys actually think, what am I going to do if I actually get into the water? Don't swim back to shore. Don't swim back to shore. Okay, what are we made out of? Meat, bugs. Okay. You get a rock ledge and the swell's big enough to wash you in, and you're trying to swim back to that rock. You know what happens to you? Okay, that's what happens. You'll swat, you'll splat. You know, you hit your head, you drown. You know, you hit your head, you're unconscious. You hit your head, you're dead. Okay? And it happens so many times. Actually, a video just north of here where it actually happened. And everyone's like, swim back, swim back, swim back. Swim back, swim back. Snap. Don't swim back. Swim out. Swim out. Get away from the danger. Then deploy your life jacket. Just get out as far as you can. Deploy your life jacket. Wait for help. If you're fishing at night time, you must have something on you which makes light. Because if you go in the water, even if they send a helicopter out after you, I mean, you can have a helicopter up 10, 15, 20 minutes, you know. You've got a life jacket on you, you know, you're out there, they're going to see them. You know, they've got their spotlight out there and a wave comes over and they're not going to see you. You need to have someone to signal them. You know, you hear the helicopter flash, then they can come. Think about that. This fishing guide has something on there which actually has lights so that they can actually see water. When you go to a rock fishing spot, think about it. If I go in, which makes the current run through it? Is it going to push me out? Is it going to push me out? How big is the whiteboard? You know? Like, you need to think about these things as well. Because some spots, which are quite low, if you go in and the swell's not that bad, eventually try it. You know? But if you're in a high speed, like when you've got 2 meters water, you're looking up. You don't want to look up at that point over there. Okay? You're here. You've got to climb that. You've got to climb straight up to that, jagged and rocky, and the waves are trying to split up against it. It looks great from 5-6 meters away, 10 meters away, swim back to it. Once you get next to it, that's what you do. That is not something you want to try and get away from. Like these lifesavers, they can have a boat in the water in 5 minutes at the moment. You know, once someone races in the water. But you're dead when they come. Yeah. The other thing as well is footwear. Okay? Have the right shoes. Okay? And everyone talks about you've got to wear cleats, you've got to wear cleats. You do. In certain spots, but not all spots. Okay? At a boat go, you're wearing cleats. If you don't have cleats on your shoes or rock spikes, do not go to a boat go. Just don't go. Okay, you have to have them. But if you're fishing like past Newcastle up Quarry Way, or even down south like Jervis Bay, most sandstone. So the best way to explain it, okay, you know how we've got coal mines in Castle Wollongong? That's because the coal layer comes up there. Okay, it's more jagged and stuff like that. I'm not a geologist, but that's basically how it works. But in this area, we've still got coal way deep, so we've probably got sandstone. Okay, so sandstone can slowly build up a little bit, and you get that nice slime, and you don't want to stop it.
Is this your second group?
Second group.
Yeah, so we're pretty much done.
Okay, alright, so basically, some places you wear cleats and some places you don't wear shoes. Wear your life jacket, you know, don't swim into the rocks, check the rocks, whatever. Don't forget the period cycle, you know, because, yeah, I'm just going to go back to the, you guys remember it, you know, 1.5 feet away from the 1.5 feet away. 1.5 feet away from there, 1.5 feet away. Okay, so,
Ay, sarap. Malilim. Hindi ko may post to. Hindi, walang post. Post ba post? Alive.
Generally, the perfect tide is most probably a rising tide, so about a high tide about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay? What's up? Go around more. Stay safe.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, this is it. This is the next group, is it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you for coming out, especially on a windy day. This is the biggest group we've had here. Wow, it's pretty good. Can you hear me out the back? Alright, I'll speak a bit louder. Just a quick introduction, who I am and my colleague here. My name is George Manor. I work with New South Wales Department of Primary Industries, the Fisheries Unit. I worked for the department for over 40 years in the fishing area. I have been fortunate to work as a compliance officer out onshore, offshore, up and down the coast, inland and now back on the coast, educating communities like yourself and special needs and various other community groups. Malcolm here, my colleague, is an expert in his field. He's a fishing safety officer for the Recreational Fishing Alliance of New South Wales. He's also a fish care volunteer, donating his time to educating people, helping them fish better and safer. I'll hand over to Malcolm to start off the workshop. It's going to be a very brief, we're not going to talk a lot, but we've got a lot of information you can take away. We'll put you onto nice websites that has all the information and give you some really good advice. Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, some basic questions. Who can swim? Hands up, come on. Who can swim? Okay, 50 metres. Put your hands up. 50 metres. 100 metres. Whoa. 200 metres.
Wow.
Good swimmer.
Up a kilometre.
Wow.
Well done.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Yours regularly. And again, ocean swimming is entirely different to swimming in a pool. Do we understand that?
Yep.
What do we have to contend with out there in the ocean? Waves, different changing conditions. Whereas all you've got to worry about in the pool is someone bombing you. Alright? So understand, what's the best thing you can buy someone for Christmas this year?
Life jacket.
Swimming lessons! Second up, life jacket if you can't swim, because you need added flotation to keep you nice and safe if you're out there in the water. What's another thing you should buy for Christmas? Good footwear. We'll talk about good footwear if you go rock fishing, because footwear needs to be the right footwear for the right location you're fishing at.
So, Malcolm means this type of footwear, and he'll explain to you the type of footwear that is appropriate in different rocky conditions, right? So, who can tell us, is this footwear okay for everywhere out on the rocks, every rock, or not? It's got cleats, it's got spikes.
This type of footwear is used where there's a lot of marine algal growth, on sandstone, and where there's black slime on the rocks, because the steel allows good traction to it. You don't put super slick tyres on your car and go drive in the rain, do you? You have good tyres with good tread. And that part of your foot is the only thing that holds you to the rock, right? It's your weight plus the tread on your shoes.
So basalt, rock.
Basalt, at the far north coast, New South Wales, you go up there, it's called basalt or granite. You need to have chunky rubber shoes or boots, right, to do that, and good running shoes. You can always convert a set of good running shoes into cleats or ice spikes or any of those things. Down here, you're going to use those same shoes down here for fishing.
But most waters, these spiky ones, right, to actually keep your grip.
Okay, any idea where this location is? Some locals might know it. It's about 1 kilometre south of here. It's called the Coal Seam. Great location for experienced fishers to go. Bit of a hike in, a bit of a hike out from the water tower, but that's all right. It's going to be worthwhile at certain times of the year. What's the guy circled in the top picture doing wrong?
Has he got his back to the water?
Ah, there we are. Very nice. He's got glasses on, see? He's only small, I know that. But yes, he's got his back to the water. What can you tell me about the ocean conditions around the rocks?
1 minute long.
They're all wet.
They're wet? What else is there? What's that white stuff on top of the water?
Splash.
So it's foam created by the wave action hitting the rocks. And that's another telltale sign you look for in terms of how much wave action is occurring. This photo was taken a minute apart. That's no BS either, okay? We're across the other side of the bay and watch this happen. His mate's up here, gearing up, and he happened to call the guy and say there's a wave coming. And the wave is out here. But can you see it? No, because it's a long period swell. And it's a very rolly, very powerful wave. As compared to a wind swell, which is really up and down. So yes, as we said before, what's the difference? What's this down here, this intertidal zone? Marine algal growth, we have good footwear, right? Up here we have this interchangeal area where the tides get to, and black slime, and up here is just dry rocks. And black slime is like going to an ice rink and putting on some ice skates, particularly if you wear thongs, which are a no-no, and gumboots, which are a no-no on rocks, okay? So if anyone wears gumboots, toss them to the garden, okay?
Okay, so before you go rock fishing, okay, you obviously have to understand that you've got some experience in that field. If not, you don't go rock fishing, right? You go with someone who's experienced. You never fish alone. So your day starts a couple of days before you go fishing to do some research, right? Some of the things that you do, right, is what, Malcolm?
Okay, so when does your fishing trip start? 2 or 3 days before you want to go fishing. And you start doing your research, understanding where you go fishing. Checking the weather. What weather do you check? Do you check the weather at Parramatta, or do you check the weather at Avoca? So you check the marine weather forecast. You look at assets like coastal cams, right, on the network, or bar cams, and you get a really good idea of what's happening with the waters in that location. Wave action and wave period. You can do so many other things. There's so many other apps, and you'll hear about this a bit later on as you go across to Spiros. But please make sure you do the right thing and start looking at the weather, where you're going to go, telling people about it.
Yep, so your wife, your partner, anyone else at home, draw out a map, you say I'm going to this location, when I get to this location, I will call you. Okay, if you decide to change locations, you make sure you let the other person know where you are, because we've had situations, unfortunately, where they've fallen in the water and the person says we're here, but they've moved somewhere else and never relayed that information, right? So that's all very important. Make sure you carry all the right gear with you. Some of the gear and equipment that you need to carry with you are, besides the safety gear that we talked about, life jackets.
You always have a torch and a spare set of batteries in your bag. Why? Because you never know how long you're going to be out for, And if you happen to be in a situation where you hurt yourself, you need light to illuminate yourself late night time. A personal locator beam. It's a little thing like an emergency EPIRB, right? Another great thing to put in. You know what I mean? If you've got a phone, right? Yep. Download yourself the Emergency Plus app. Who's seen this app? So find it. Emergency Plus app is a great thing to have on your phone. Emergency Plus, Google it up, put it on your phone, set it all up. It tells you two things. It tells you a street location and a GPS location in blue and red figures. Read those figures out exactly as you see it, and the first responders will get to you sooner because there are no street signs on a rock platform.
Yep, so you get yourself all prepared, your light gear, always shorts, light shirts, never go with Levi's and boots and everything else because the quickest way to sink if you fall in the water, right? In addition to that, you've got to have the right life jacket, right? So I've had a few people come along and say, oh, these are great life jackets. There's those life jackets over there.
Nabasa ka.
What we remember the right life jacket is they're Australian standards approved. Look for this set of ticks here to see it is, or AS458.
So this one here, it looks great.
Very nice, look at all the pockets.
There's a few of them. And you know what, they sell, right? But they're not for rock fishing. They're not Australian standard. They're not safe. They're not stamped. They don't have the buoyancy, right? So these here, tell them about the newtons, which is 50.
So this is a 50 Newton life jacket. A 1 litre Coke bottle holds 1 Newton of air, right? And gives you a 1 Newton of buoyancy. This holds 50 Newtons. All right.
So that's very light foam in that. And this one here, it's got double the foam. It's 100
Newtons, so basically double the foam, and it's got a collar on it. And the idea of the collar is that it sits you in the water with your head and your chin out of the water if you happen to be unconscious.
So can you imagine falling into the wave that we talk about here in the water? There's wave action. So if you're on the beach, it's hard without a life jacket to go past the waves, isn't it? Diving through.
So you're going to try and dive through the waves with this on, or an inflatable life jacket. And a really good thing to think about, if you happen to buy a life jacket, go to the local pool and get used to your life jacket.
Yep.
Bring it back home again after you get in the pool, wash it off, just normal plain water,
Yep.
right, and then dry it out. Because this is your friend if you happen to get washed in, right? And if you don't know how to wear it, if you don't know how it performs, then it's a bit of a shock to the system if you happen to go in the wind when rock fishing. So suggestion is, go to a swimming pool where there's lifeguards, or go down the local river and just pop in and just ease yourself into the water and understand how it supports you in the water.
Yep. So you know we've had experienced fishermen, rock fishers, fall in the water. Malcolm's fallen himself. He's been fishing 50 years plus. You know, you could be a great swimmer and get yourself into trouble, but that helps you. Right? These here are like these here. These are, you pull the cord and it blows up like that. Lifts you up, but you can't swim forward with this. You can only swim backwards, right?
These are what I call, in simple terms, a pair of Dolly Partons.
Right.
If you want to get out of the water on an escape route around a rock platform, you have to crawl out, and there's every chance that these things hinder you. And I don't know how, I don't want to be a woman by the way, but anyhow, that's life. Yeah. But yes, and they will bust. So you need to work out, and you can't swim in these because they're designed to keep you at 45 degrees. They roll you over all the time. Yeah. You can't do that. It's the same thing. This is not so bad, this one, and this one's quite easy to swim.
Yep. So you know, like as a good fisherman, you'll see them. We're going to show you a video. We'll wear one of these, a real strong swimmer, because he knows he's not going to pull the cord until he's past the wave right in the nice calm waters. Well, that's good because that'll keep him afloat. So if he falls in the water, what do? If your mate falls in the water, what's the first thing you do?
Right. Okay. So the first thing you do is make sure your mate's okay. Throw him some buoyancy if he's got nothing. An esky lid, a bucket. Turn the bucket over, you know, and trap the air inside. Hold on to the bucket. Right. If you don't have a life jacket on, call 000 and try and report your location to them if you don't know it properly. And as George mentioned earlier, there was a situation on the coast where a guy said he was going fishing here at Avoca and ended up fishing Waibung Headland, 40 kilometres north of us, and that's where he lost his life.
Yep.
So again, staying in touch is paramount to sharing where you are at the time. So, and the only way they tracked that down, they moved location, was a photo he sent his wife of a kingfish he had caught at Waibung Headland, because it has the GPS coordinates on it. So they moved the search to Waibung Headland.
So we're going to just show you quickly before, and we'll keep going and talking to you, a little bit of footage on the rock fishing essentials.
There's plenty of information you can get. www.safefishing.com.au is another website. Another location, another website we have is Angel Rings, which are these orange life buoys. They're put at various locations around on the coastline where there's been fatalities and rescue incidents. So they serve as a public rescue device as well as a warning sign.
Rock fishing's great fun, but it can be risky. The following 8 quick and easy tips can help reduce the risks and make your rock fishing experiences safer and more productive. First, check the weather and tidal conditions before you go fishing. If conditions aren't favourable, postpone your trip until another day. And when you're out there fishing, make sure you keep up to date on changing conditions. Once you get to your spot, spend at least 20 minutes checking the wave action and conditions from a safe vantage point before you start fishing. This will allow you to gauge swell patterns and make an informed decision on whether the location is safe. Next, always wear a life jacket. In an emergency, a quality life jacket designed to Australian or recognised international standards can help you stay afloat until rescue arrives. Think of a life jacket as insurance if the worst happens and you end up in the water. But whatever style of life jacket you choose, make sure it's a quality product which complies with Australian standard AS 4758 or an equivalent international standard. And remember, that life jacket is insurance against the worst case scenario. Fishing safely and responsibly at all times limits the risk of you ever needing that insurance. As well as the life jacket, wear non-slip footwear and light, easy-to-swim-in clothing whenever you're fishing from the rocks. Non-slip footwear is paramount in rock fishing. You need to be able to keep your footing if a wave comes through or if you're traversing a slippery surface. The right footwear can literally spell the difference between staying safe or getting swept in. Likewise, clothing that won't weigh you down if you end up in the sea makes a huge difference to your safety when rock fishing. And it'll help your life jacket do its job of keeping you afloat until help arrives. As with all things, prevention is better than a cure, so think ahead and plan an escape route in case the worst happens and you get washed in or fall from the rocks. Now, this next one sounds absurdly simple, but it remains one of the key aspects of rock fishing safety. Never, ever turn your back on the ocean. Another key thing to remember is not to jump in and try and help if someone else gets washed in. Throw them an angel ring or some other buoyancy aid, then ring 000 or send someone to get help. And it goes without saying, or it should, that you should never fish from the rocks alone. If the worst happens, you want someone to get help. You don't want to be floating around out there all alone. Following the common sense rules in this short video will help make your rock fishing safer and more enjoyable. A good day on the stones always ends with you and your mates getting home safe and sound. Remember to always fish safe from the rocks, and if in doubt, don't go out.
Just going to show you how we wear a life jacket. Have you been shown how to wear a life jacket? Over there, have you guys? No, not yet. Okay. So the most important thing about wearing a life jacket is that it fits you from. It's not too big on you. Right?
Don't take it out after.
He can tighten that with those straps there, right?
It's all yours after.
So once in there, you can actually tighten it up. I already see that's a good fit. Grab that strap there, put it underneath your crotch, the other one. Underneath. Up! Oh. And in there.
Oh.
Okay.
So you know why is that? Why do you think that is?
We'll just loosen it off and just show you. All right,
Okay.
nice and loose.
So see this here, it's just still a little bit loose, right? He needs to tighten himself a little bit more.
So,
here.
so it relies on the fact that his armpits are now holding his life jacket. You imagine yourself in the water, he's going down because the water is dragging his clothes down and his life jacket's floating up.
Now do it. And this is still loose, so you can tighten it a bit more, right? If you need to.
Make sure if you want to be a dad.
Yes.
I can do it really tall.
So it's still,
It's nice and comfortable.
yeah. See that?
Won't go up anymore, okay?
That holds its own.
I'll tell you, it's incredible when you go in the water. I took a group of, we have a group which helps us get messages across, Asian women at work. They were fantastic. Threw them all in just water, deep water in one of the pools.
In a pool, and we put life jackets on them, and they learnt how to be friends with their life jacket. And we showed the good wearing of a life jacket and the bad wearing of a life jacket. And that's paramount to making sure he's going to be safe, and he'll be a dad one day, okay?
Looks good on you, mate.
So the important thing today, you'll get this life jacket, right? For participating. And the good thing is got a strap under there, and it fits you. So there's a large, extra large, small. So make sure when you go there, it's fitted right, okay? Pick the right one, don't pick something that's too big, okay? Don't forget, you fall in the water, this will keep you up. It doesn't save you, it won't stop that wave smashing you forward, right? You've got to really struggle to swim out, right? So it's important, don't fall in. That's the most important thing. Try very hard not to, right? But this will give you more chance, right? In case you need to stay afloat a bit longer.
Thank you. Wish you all the children in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the other thing is, right, we've had the most experienced rock fishers fall in the water, right? You get excited, unfortunately you slip, you're not thinking, you're tired, you get in the water. And not long ago we had one of them die. Rock fisher who's been experienced for a long time. I think he had also a little bit of a heart problem when he did, but he wasn't strong enough. He fished all his life, he wasn't strong enough to sustain the water when he was in the water. Yeah, so it's important. I would start off not by myself. I would go with a very experienced person. And, you go to an estuary where there's rocks, in the inside of an estuary. There's not much waves. That's okay. Start off with slowly and then work your way to areas and try and pick locations, because the wind can be blowing this way and it's bad here. Over there it's nice and calm, right? It's not worth putting your life on the line just for a fish, right? And yeah, so rock fishing isn't for everyone, but it's a very good sport and you do catch fish, but it's important that you know what you're doing when you go out there. So any questions? We're open to questions. If you'd like to ask some questions.
It's not a question, but I had a friend that was a very fit, very good swimmer. I was down at the beach with him. He went out spearfishing, and when he went out it was okay. When he come back, the swell had come up, and he said he got to the stage where he thought, that's it, I'm gone. But he didn't ditch his gear. Now that's the first thing I'd do.
Yeah.
You can replace that.
Yeah.
And again, being a spearfisher, he would have been wearing a wetsuit.
Yep.
And most probably a weight belt.
Yep.
But ditching the weight belt and going positive buoyancy rather than neutral buoyancy is one of those things about it. And all a life jacket does is add extra buoyancy to you. You have your body mass index, which is your natural buoyancy already, right? But by adding a life jacket to you, it gives you added buoyancy. A Coke bottle, a 2-litre Coke bottle gives you buoyancy because you put the cap on it, put it under your shirt, and you've got extra buoyancy. A bucket turned over gives you extra buoyancy, right? An esky turned over, an esky lid, they all give you air that's trapped in a container that allows you to have, and that reduces the level of stress you're in when you're in the water. Because understand, unless you jump into a pool during the middle of winter and you've got no life jacket and the edge is only that far away from you, that level of stress goes from here to here in a matter of milliseconds. And that is what causes the majority of our fatalities. All right, to make sure you get to learn water. As I said before, the best thing you do for Christmas presents, buy someone swimming lessons. Right? You know, it's like riding a bike. You never forget how to get up and ride a bike. You don't forget how to get up and swim. And then the other one is, a first aid. Learn how to do CPR or assist someone. All these skills are part of that skill set that you have as a rock fisher. And you can share those skills around. Show someone else. Take your mate fishing. Take him swimming. Take your girlfriend swimming. It is great things to do. Right? Starting with the weird weather. Who knows about weather? Come on! Where's this wind coming from? And why is the wind coming from?
Westerly what?
It's a northeasterly wind. It's coming from a low pressure system developing up off the coast. Alright, and it's coming towards, because the low pressure system is just on the edge of the coastline. Who watches the weather at night time on the news? What do you see? You see today far better information for you to grasp, be it on land or on water. The animation of those weather reports is really critical. What's the synoptic chart? What's the low pressure systems move across the country? The high pressure system, the coastal fronts that move around, right? They're the low from the Great Australian Bight or up on the coastline. And you will certainly start to understand what weather plays on our marine environment. You don't look for the weather at Parramatta and going fishing at the Boca Rock platform.
So today, it says sunny, winds 40 to 55, decreasing to 20 to 30 in the evening, then becoming west to northeasterly and light in the late afternoon. Winds gusting up to 75 kilometres an hour in the morning. Right? It's huge, right?
Becoming windy.
So, but, I mean, most of the times it's right, but then again, it can change real quickly.
A low pressure system, right? If it's over the central coast, which way do the winds go? Clockwise. If it's a high pressure system, which way do the winds go? Anti-clockwise. If the isobars on the map are really close together, what does it mean? Very strong winds. If the isobars are wide apart, what does it mean? Nice, calm conditions. Really simple things, and the Bureau of Meteorology's website gives you all the information in our language, English, or in other languages. Get on there and do some research. Understand the activity you've chosen. Do you go play football without knowing the rules? No. Do you go play squash without rules? So understand our fishing rules to stay safe, and that's knowing about the weather. Basic water skills. Understand how to read the water. Right? You know, you can go down here and watch the beach and see things, and what's that foam on the water, what it does, and understand other parameters. You could have some wind driving the foam differently, right? Or you could have different wave actions. The spray coming off the back of a wave indicates offshore winds. And offshore winds act like a blanket over the water. The minute those westerly winds calm down, up comes those swells, right? And that's the danger time. And remember, after dangerous hazard warning or surf warnings, there's a period that takes for the seas to abate and calm down. The other thing is, understand period swells. Long period swells are generated, and they have a lot of power in the water in that wave. Wind-driven swells have a sine wave fairly short and sharp. And then we have the sets that come through from as periodically that surfers like to enjoy. You don't see surfers out when it's nice calm, do you? And that's the issue. Understand your environment you're going fishing in. Failing to do that, you risk yourself all the time.
Yeah. So just on another issue, so we're going fishing, right? That's what it's all about. So we have legislation on fishing rules and regulations that are really important to know, right? So basic rules are bag and size limits of fish, you need to know, and also what type of fishing gear you can and can't use. On top of that, there are areas up and down the coast where some fishing is banned or where there's certain types of fishing gear can be used. So here today, we have a lot of brochures on rock fishing safety, our rules and regulations on saltwater, and then you can download this information off our website as well. And if you type in the words Fishing Information NSW, you'll go into our website, have a map of New South Wales, you can click the area where you want to go, up and down the coast. It'll open up a guide, it'll tell you all the regulations in that guide, It'll give you the local fisheries officer contact number, right? In addition to this booklet, okay? And you should be safe. Because rules and like fines on fishing is huge compared to road fines, right? Rules on the road. We're talking about hundreds to thousands of dollars, right? So if in doubt, always find out, okay? So any questions from the floor? Because we're pretty much wrapping it up now for the next group.
Quick question.
Yep.
I'm hoping it's a good question.
Yep.
You know, you've mentioned you have safety rated jackets and there's such a range. In what circumstances?
It's more developed for an experienced rock fisher or experienced swimmer who know their ability. All right. And if you read the conditions on the inside of life jackets, they're fairly sort of plain in English that you need to have some sort of level of swimming ability. Okay. So an auto inflate is really for a boating area, not great for off the rocks because it has a canister that gets up and melts away and off goes the jacket. You end up with Dolly Parton in front of you, okay? All right. Whereas if it's a manual inflate like this one, it doesn't have the canister down the bottom here, right? I can